Hey guys, it's Scott with scottieb Cards, and in this video I'm doing my very first card shop review. Whenever I go on trips or whenever I just feel like going to a card shop, it's always nice to know if it's a good card shop before you head there. So in this new video series, I'm going to be going to various card shops whenever I travel or wherever I'm just buy one. And I'll tell you if it's a good card shop, what it's good for, whether it's vintage, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's modern, whether it's baseball, whether it's football, whatever it's going to be. And I'll break that all down here and show you a bunch of video B-roll so that way you can see if you would like to visit this particular card shop.
We are at Ideal Baseball Cards. This is our very first card shop review. I'm excited. This is kind of a local card shop for me. It's really close. And so I wanted to give them a shout out and do the first review here. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these if people enjoy them. So let me know if you like these types of videos. With that being said, I'll just do a quick walk around the store so that way you can get a feel of what the store looks like, what it feels like before I show a little bit of the cards in more depth and kind of go over the showcases with you and describe what's good and what's bad about the store. And the first thing you'll notice is there's cases and singles everywhere in a good way. They have cards everywhere. Those are the best types of card shops. Some card shops nowadays, you walk in and they don't have that many cards, especially singles. It feels like a sports card front just to get wax that they can sell. But that is not the case here. You're going to see crazy cards that you typically don't see, typically in vintage, and you're going to see a lot of modern sprinkled in as well, and you're going to see some really cool rare stuff. So you're going to see cases on the walls, you're going to see display cases around the entire store with the singles that rotate on the shelf. They have sealed wax. They have great non-sports card vintage memorabilia. Like I bought a pennant. That's one of the few things I did buy in this trip to go with all those as well. So really you could spend a lot of time here and search through what they have and have a good time. Either way, while I'm walking around, let me tell you what I'm going to be rating card shops on. There's a few categories that I think are important because not everybody likes the same thing when they go to a card shop. So I want to let you know what the pros of this card shop is. So the very first thing is we're going to be looking at vintage singles, modern singles, value boxes. This is like dollar boxes and quarter boxes. On top of that, pricing overall on singles and wax availability, staff friendliness, Pokemon and TCG cards, card shop feel, like does it feel like a card shop? And the last one is a term I made up called lingability. How long can you spend in this card shop and have a good time? Some card shops, you've probably all been there, you walk in for a few minutes and you see everything you need to see. Other times you're at a card shop for a couple hours, going through boxes forever. So we'll discuss that as well in this video. But to start out, this place is a vintage collector's dream. Straight up, this is the best vintage card shop I've personally ever been to. I would love to hear you all out there as well if you've ever seen anything better than this, because I would bet you haven't, if I'm being honest. It's a great local card shop for that purpose, especially if you have any interest in vintage. When I say vintage, I don't just mean like a few 1950s cards. They have pre-war, they have post-war, they have hockey, they have football, they have basketball, they have boxing, they have everything you would like. They have non-sports, they have photos, they have all sorts of vintage, which is nice. They have all of the main stuff you're looking for, like Mickey Mantle's, Hank Aaron's, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente's, Jackie Robinson's. They have all of that, which is really cool. And the cool thing about this card shop is all of it is in really good shape. They're not going to see a lot of graded cards. I mean, there are graded cards mixed in, of course. That's impossible if you're a card shop buying nowadays. But overall, you're going to see a lot of really mid to high grade singles. When I say high grade, I'm not super knowledgeable in vintage like other vintage collectors. So when I'm saying mid to high grade, I'm saying probably like a 3 to a 6 or 7, which is pretty cool raw nowadays. You're gonna see loads of screw downs, which is fun, a nice throwback, probably from a collection they bought where they were on screw downs. But you'll be able to walk around and get a feel of this is a real card shop. This is the card shop like I grew up with. That's kind of the vibe this place gives, especially when it comes to vintage. So if you like vintage, it's gonna be a 10 out of 10. Honestly, the best card shop of vintage you'll probably ever go to. At least, if not the best, top 3 you'll ever go to. So definitely check it out if that's your cup of tea. Mike also was nice enough to crack open the safe and show me the goods that he had, the really great vintage, the really rare vintage valuable stuff that he had as well. So they do have this if you're interested in buying some of it. Amazing Ty Cobb. Looks like it's in really great condition, higher than a 2 probably in regards to condition. All the Gaudy Babe Ruths, the Mickey Mantle rookie cards, all of them were awesome. There's even a Honus Wagner, which is pretty cool. Not the T206, unfortunately. I'm sure Mike would like that too if he had that one. But either way, these were very impressive. So if you are interested in any of these, any cards in this video, reach out to Ideal Baseball Cards and speak to Mike and see if you can get a deal done with them. You never know. One thing I do want to point out as well, which is very unique about this card shop compared to other card shops I've ever seen from a vintage perspective, is they are known for having a ton of different bulk options for sets from the 1940s all the way to the 1990s. So you can come in here and finish hard to find sets in good condition, which is really nice. I was talking to the owner, Mike, and he was saying that people come from all over solely to finish sets. They can come here, get a set done in an afternoon because they have boxes and boxes and boxes of the 50s cards, the 60s cards, 70s cards, and they have walls of this stuff. And we're going to talk about value boxes later, but for a vintage perspective on value boxes, it's a 10 out of 10 from that perspective. But either way, great place if you are interested in vintage or want to complete sets. It doesn't get much better than this shop. If you watch my channel in the past, you know I'm more of a modern guy. So this is what I more so look for in a card shop personally, but everybody operates and ticks differently. From a modern perspective, they still have some really cool cards. I view modern as going to be like the year 2000 to the year 2025. Ultra modern is more so viewed like the last 5 to 7 years or so. But either way, from a modern perspective, it's not quite as strong, and that's not their focus. I even asked Mike, they still have modern cards. So if you are a modern card collector, come check it out. There's still some really great cards. There was actually a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. PSA 9 Purple Refractor for $99, which was a really good price, and I know they would have worked with me on the price as well. So that beats the market price, and I probably could have gotten a little bit better. So they do have great modern cards, so don't be discouraged from that perspective. I even saw a 2013 Shohei Ohtani Japanese rookie card, which I thought was really cool. I'm interested in those. So they do have great modern, but just in comparison to the vintage, there's just not as much, and that's just because the vintage is so good. So I'd probably give it a 6.5 or a 7 overall for modern, and that's not a bad grade by any stretch. And the 10 out of 10 for their vintage is just perfect, like literally perfect. So still strong. If you want to check out modern, I would come take a peek here, and you'll find some cards that you really like. Really cool autographs of legends. I saw some really great Tony Gwynn autographs and Mike Schmidt autographs and Sweet Spot signature autographs. All these cool things were in this card shop. The next up is value boxes. I kind of hinted at this already. They have amazing value boxes for vintage, and there's a whole wall of those value boxes that I'm showing right now that you can see of all these different eras and everything. And they even had some random boxes just on the counter. I went and picked it up, and here's what was in there. Just amazing mid-grade vintage cards of players like Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and Harmon Killebrew, I'm a big fan of as someone from Idaho. All these things in really good condition. So that was cool. They have great value boxes there. They do not have value boxes for modern really at all, especially for baseball. That doesn't exist here. That's not what they're focusing on. So just be aware of that. If you're the type of person who likes to go to a card shop to spend hours just sifting through value boxes, it's not going to be the right card shop for you for that purpose. I think that they do a good job of incorporating all of their singles that would be in value boxes into those rotating display cases and the cases on the side because they're fairly priced. But if you want to go find like gems in the rough in a value box that's been there for a year, that's not what they currently have. So overall for value boxes, I give it 10 out of 10 for vintage, and then probably like a 2 out of 10 for modern, just because there wasn't much there for that perspective. But overall value boxes was really strong. Pricing, I have no issues with what was priced in this card shop. Everything that I looked at, and I didn't look at comps very much, just because I was just kind of getting an idea if anything felt funky, and nothing felt funky to me. Maybe you look at this video and see some of the prices and you disagree with me, but I think Mike priced everything very fairly. He's very much on target with a lot of the cards. And cards, owning a card shop is hard because if you price cards, and you can't price every single card in this shop every week or every month, it's just impossible. So some cards may be a little bit higher, some cards may be a little bit lower where current comps are. But I know Mike, if you spoke to him and other people working at the card shop, they will give you a fair price, 100%, especially if you buy in bulk. That's what I was seeing with other people who were actually coming in and working with them. They were selling and buying and trading, which is pretty cool. So overall for pricing, give it a 9 out of 10. They did pretty good on everything. Wax availability, here's their wax wall. Their wax wall is a mixture of new releases as well as random old stuff, which I love. I saw some boxes of 2010 Series 2, which I thought was cool. I couldn't remember if Billy Butler was in that set. If he was, I probably should have bought a blaster box and hunt for a black parallel or something. But either way, they had some really great wax. They had the brand new Allen and Ginter that came out this week at an affordable price, and they had all the Bowman stuff. So solid 7 out of 10. You can't complain about their selection. They have a majority of what you're looking for. A lot of retail stuff, if that isn't your cup of tea. But the good thing about the retail stuff is it's more affordable if you have kids and everything, which is nice. So I'll give them a 7 out of 10 there. Staff friendliness, 10 out of 10. They were unbelievable. They're also incredibly knowledgeable about the best players in baseball. Here's a video of what I'm talking about.
What's your favorite thing to collect?
I'm more of a modern baseball guy.
So I'm a big fan of, you know,
Well, Mookie Betts, I assume, since he's the greatest athlete on earth right now.
we've had this conversation before.
Exactly. I will not fluctuate off my deep appreciation for Mookie Betts.
I honestly didn't even mention Mookie Betts to him. He just said that out of the blue. So you know he's a good guy and knows his stuff if that's how he feels. Honestly, the staff was great, and they weren't just helping me because I was recording a video. I've come to this card shop before, and they were equally as helpful around education. They were teaching me on what all these different vintage sets were, and they were showing me cool things that they had, which was always really fun. Pokemon cards, this is not a TCG shop. And I don't want to take that away from them because there's a good chance all their TCG was purchased because it's very hot and TCG is hard to get. But the packs that they did have were $8, which is completely in line for a blister pack with a coin and an additional card. That's fair. That's here. So if you have a kid who wants Pokemon cards, you can bring them to this shop and they'd be happy opening up a pack of Pokemon cards. Their singles, there wasn't a ton. They did have some cool stuff. But overall, for TCG, they have enough where if you have a kid who likes Pokemon, they can open a couple packs and be content. But it's mostly focused sports. I'd probably give it 2.5 out of 10 just because there wasn't a ton there, but what they did have was priced fairly for their wax. The last one is the Lingability, and I was telling you about 10 out of 10. You could spend hours in the shop, especially if you're into vintage or, 90s junk wax. Their junk wax, I didn't even talk about their junk wax. They have so much awesome junk wax. You can buy boxes and open them there. They have packs for sale up at the register from 1992 Donruss or 1989 Donruss, whatever you want to open, they have that there. And they have great price sets that you can buy and finish your sets or do whatever you would like there. So junk wax as well. If you grew up in the 1990s or the 2000s, going to baseball card shops, this is the perfect baseball card shop. You're going to have a ton of time. Lingability, 10 out of 10, 100%. This feels like an LCS that you grew up or visited as a kid in all the right ways. It is organized enough where you have a great time, but it's not too organized where you feel stuffy, and it's not messy. It feels clean. You can walk around. You're not going to break anything. So overall, I was very content with Ideal Baseball Cards. Thank you to them for letting me come in and check out their card shop. If you're in Northern Kentucky or Cincinnati, I'd recommend it. Probably one of the best card shops around. I'll probably do more card shops in this area as well. So if you're ever on a trip in this area, you can check it out. I'll also be doing it anytime I'm on vacation. So if you like this type of video, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next episode.